Breaking news! There's something brewing in Baltimore, and it's bigger than just a Week 3 matchup. The Ravens are gearing up for a Monday Night Football clash that could define the direction of their entire season. But this isn't just about bouncing back. Behind the scenes, there are lineup decisions, injury updates, and pressure mounting on players who haven't stepped up yet. One key name might finally break out, and another might be losing the coaching staff's trust. It's all unfolding fast, and fans are starting to ask some serious questions. But before we get into all of that, make sure you hit that like button if you're a true Ravens fan. It's always amazing to see fans of all ages supporting this team. And if you feel like it, comment, "Go Ravens," down below. We want to see who's locked in for this primetime battle. Now let's get to it. There's more going on inside this locker room than people realize. Injury news out of Baltimore has been a mixed bag. On one hand, Kyle Van Noy is confirmed to be out for multiple weeks. That's a blow to a defense still trying to find its identity up front. But the silver lining? Marlon Humphrey is only day-to-day after his injury against Cleveland, not expected to be sidelined long-term. And as for Jahlani Tavai, John Harbaugh labeled him a healthy scratch for last week, meaning his absence isn't related to injury and he's likely back in the mix this week. That could be critical against a Detroit team that loves to test the middle of the field. Detroit isn't coming into this game clean either. Marcus Davenport exited twice in their last game against the Bears and is listed as day-to-day. Star pass rusher Aiden Hutchinson is also banged up. He's expected to play, but he was clearly laboring on the sideline last Sunday. That's the kind of thing that could spell a mismatch if Baltimore's offensive line holds strong. But injuries only tell part of the story. When it comes to beating Detroit, the Ravens have 5 clear keys to victory, and the first one could determine the tone of the entire night. Stop the run. Period. Detroit's two-headed backfield of Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, nicknamed Sonic and Knuckles, is the motor of their offense. When those two are humming, everything else opens up for Jared Goff. The blueprint is already there. Green Bay smothered them in Week 1. Gibbs was held to 2.1 yards per carry, Montgomery to 2.3. The result? Detroit couldn't move the ball, couldn't score, and looked completely out of rhythm. Baltimore's run defense used to be a wall, especially last year when the secondary struggled but the front seven kept things in check. That hasn't exactly carried over. 2 weeks in, they're allowing 111 yards per game, 17th in the league. That's after facing Buffalo and Cleveland, neither known for elite rushing attacks. Cleveland averaged 4.2 yards per carry against the Ravens. Not catastrophic, but not dominant either. If Roquan Smith, Travis Jones, and Justin Matabike don't take that next step, this could be a long night. Trenton Simpson and Tavius Robinson are also names to watch. They need to plug gaps, shut lanes, and take away the explosive plays. If they let Gibbs or Montgomery start cooking, it's going to be an uphill battle. Now, once you've neutralized the ground game, the next step? Get in Jared Goff's face. The guy is a completely different quarterback under pressure. Keep him clean, and he looks like a top 10 passer. But once you start disrupting the pocket, that facade cracks. Take the divisional round game against Washington. Goff was nearly perfect when protected. 10 for 11, 137 yards. But under pressure, 30% completion rate, 43 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. He melted down. The Ravens, however, haven't exactly been lighting up the stat sheet in that department. A 32% pressure rate ranks 20th in the league. 3 total sacks across 2 games? That's 25th. And it's taking them nearly 3 seconds to get pressure on average. Also bottom tier. With Kyle Van Noy sidelined, someone new has to answer the call. Could this be Mike Green's breakout? Or will it finally be the game where Odafoa reminds us why he was drafted in the first round? Because so far, he's been far too quiet. Somebody has to win off the edge, collapse the pocket, and throw Goff off his rhythm, or he'll pick them apart. On the offensive side, it starts with Derrick Henry. Week 2 against Cleveland, 11 carries, 23 yards. That's his lowest total since joining the Ravens. And it showed. Baltimore's offense looked stuck. Jackson had flashes, but the balance was gone. The entire offense sputtered. The Ravens need to reestablish their identity: physical, punishing, efficient. Feed Henry early. Let him wear down that front. He's too talented, too experienced to stay cold 2 games in a row. And a strong run game opens up everything else: RPOs, play action, bootlegs. When Henry is rolling, Lamar Jackson is lethal. And don't get it twisted, Jackson can absolutely beat you with his arm, but this offense is its most dangerous when it's unpredictable, balanced, dynamic. Which brings us to the Lions secondary, Detroit's biggest vulnerability. Outside of Brian Branch and DJ Reed, this unit is ripe for the picking. Aiden Hutchinson is expected to be back to full speed soon, but beyond him, their back end is shaky. This is where Todd Monken earns his paycheck. Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews, there are weapons in this Ravens offense. scheme them into space, use tempo, use motion, use every creative wrinkle. Monken's got to stretch and stress that secondary. This could be the area where Baltimore takes over if they can protect Jackson long enough. But even with all of that, stopping the run, pressuring Goff, getting Henry going, exposing the secondary, it may all come down to one thing. Who makes the big play? This is going to be a tight game. Two playoff caliber teams, both hungry, both with something to prove. And like most battles at this level, it's going to be about who steps up in the clutch. Can Lamar convert that crucial third down? Can Tucker nail a 50-yarder under the lights? Can Marlon come up with the pick at the right moment? They couldn't do it against Buffalo. The Ravens came up short when it mattered most. That can't happen again, not with Kansas City looming, not with Houston and LA right behind. This is a momentum game, a tone setter, a measuring stick. The Ravens need to win this one. They can't afford to fall to 1-2. Not in this division, not with this schedule, because here's where things get even more interesting. We've talked about stopping the run, pressuring Goff, reestablishing Derrick Henry, and exploiting Detroit's secondary. But if you really want to understand what's at stake Monday night, you need to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. This isn't just about beating the Lions. This is about identity. For years, the Ravens have danced around the question, are they a good team or are they a great team? And more importantly, when it matters most, can they deliver? What separates good from great in the NFL is consistency. And through the first 2 weeks, Baltimore hasn't looked consistent. A loss to Buffalo that never should have happened. A win over Cleveland that felt more like survival than domination. The pieces are all there. Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, Roquan Smith, Marlon Humphrey. But the cohesion, that fluidity, that swagger, that sense of inevitable dominance, we haven't seen it yet. Monday night is their chance to prove it's coming together. Detroit is no fluke. Dan Campbell's team is built tough. They win in the trenches, they play with heart, and they believe in their system. This is a team that dropped nearly 50 points on the Bears. If you think this is going to be some walkover just because it's in Baltimore, think again. But that's also what makes this such a pivotal moment. Let's talk about the Ravens' offensive strategy in more detail, because this is where Todd Monken's creativity will be tested. The Lions' defense thrives on aggression. They love to blitz, especially from disguised looks. Aiden Hutchinson, even at less than 100%, can wreck a play in seconds. The offensive line has to hold up, and Jackson has to make quick, decisive reads. This is the kind of game where pre-snap motion becomes critical. You want to see guys like Zay Flowers and Isaiah Likely moving constantly, creating confusion, pulling linebackers out of position, and giving Lamar clear matchups. The quick slants, the bubble screens, the jet sweeps, those aren't gimmicks this week. They're how you keep Detroit's defense honest. And don't underestimate the importance of tight ends. If Mark Andrews is at full speed, he's going to be a nightmare matchup. Detroit doesn't have the linebackers to cover him consistently in space. Monken needs to find those mismatches early and hammer them until the Lions adjust. Then there's the red zone. Baltimore needs touchdowns. Field goals won't cut it in a game that might be a shootout. Execution inside the 20 has to be sharp. No penalties. No missed blocks. No indecisiveness. That's where Derrick Henry becomes more than just a power back. He's a statement. You line him up in the I formation and let him run over somebody. Remind Detroit exactly who's in their way. Defensively, it's going to be a game of patience. Jared Goff isn't the type to take unnecessary risks. He'll check it down all day if you let him. The Ravens secondary can't bite on the short stuff. Keep everything in front. Make the Lions earn every yard. But the real key? Timely pressure. Not just blitzes, smart blitzes. Simulated pressures. Zone drops that bait Goff into a mistake. He's not going to throw many 50-50 balls, but when he does, you better believe the Ravens need to come down with him. This is where Marlon Humphrey's return, even if limited, could be massive. Then there's the X factor, special teams. Don't forget how many times Justin Tucker has been the difference. A game like this, under the lights, could absolutely come down to one final kick. And if it does, Baltimore has the best in the business. But that also means you can't afford to waste possessions. No stalled drives. No conservative punts from midfield. If you have the chance to step on the Lions' throat, you take it, because they will. That's what makes this game so compelling. This isn't just about a win. It's about proving that when it's all on the line, Baltimore can execute, that they can outplay, outcoach, and outlast one of the hottest teams in the league. Win this game, and the narrative shifts. You're no longer the team that let Buffalo sneak one away. You're the team that just beat the Lions under the lights, while the entire country watched. Lose this game, and suddenly you're 1-2 with Kansas City coming next. Let that sink in. So Monday night isn't just a game, it's a measuring stick. It's a moment of truth for a team that's trying to shake off years of postseason heartbreak and regular season inconsistency. And it's a moment for fans to rally, to show up, to let the Lions know that M/T Bank Stadium is still one of the hardest places to play in football. Because when the dust settles Monday night, we're going to know exactly what this team is. fans? Are they ready to rise to the occasion, or will the same questions keep haunting them? Only one way to find out. Now, if you made it this far, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a breakdown like this again. And check out the video on your screen now for more exclusive Ravens coverage, because this season is just getting started.